Okay, so in the previous class, we were talking about uh, a few basic mathematics which you need to understand classical mechanics. So you learned new concepts of gradient, divergence, and curl, and then we moved on to understand few basics of classical mechanics, like what happens when you throw a ball up and then it comes down. How did you relate work and potential energy, all those things, right? And then at the end, oh yes, we even came to two types of forces: conservative forces and non-conservative forces. So in conservative force, the work done will be equal and opposite in both the directions. Non-conservative force, it will not be. In case of conservative force, the total work done will be zero, or integral of force dot the distance will be zero. But non-conservative, the integral value will not be zero. Now we are going to establish a small relation between force and potential energy. Okay. Now, so for that, what you are going to consider is you are going to take an object and let it be that this object is moving in a straight line motion. Okay. If it is moving in a straight line and a force is being applied, then in x direction, let me take the force as fx of x. Fx of x. Okay. Potential energy for that, because of that force, whatever potential energy is being generated or changed is u of x. Fx of x is the force component and potential energy is u of x. Now this thing you already understood. Work done by a conservative force is negative of change in potential energy. It said this, right? You were throwing up the ball, there was a change in potential energy in the opposite direction, which like suppose you did a positive work, change in potential energy was negative. If the change in potential energy was positive, then work was done in the opposite direction. So the same concept we are bringing it back. Work is equal to negative of change in potential energy, or W is equal to minus delta U. Change in potential energy, I'll take it as delta. W is equal to minus delta U. How do I represent work? If I know the force, so this is the force component in x direction, Fx of x. Suppose when you apply the force, the work done is for a small displacement delta x, for a small distance or small displacement. We call it as displacement, right? So the object is being displaced by delta x, a small value delta x. Then work done W will be force into displacement. So Fx of x into delta x, force into displacement. So work done is equal to minus delta U. That means Fx of x into delta x I can write as minus delta U. I just substituted for the work done in terms of the force and the displacement. Now, next step, I'm just rewriting this. I move the delta x to the right hand side. So because of that, what do I get? Fx of x is equal to minus delta U by delta x. Minus delta U by delta x. Now, what if the delta x tends to 0? I can write it as minus du by dx. Minus du by dx. So this is how you generally get in a differential form. If you remember the initial max classes on differentiation, this is how you get a differential form. You had something in delta, and then you said that the denominator value tends to 0, then you make it as d, right? Differential. So minus du by dx, du of x by dx. So force fx of x, that is the x component of force, is equal to negative differential, right, of the potential energy in the x direction. So this is only x direction. So what happens in y direction? I can take it as fy of y is equal to minus du of y divided by dy. Just replace the x with y. What about z direction? Similarly, in the same way, fz of z is equal to minus du of z by dz. So I get three components of force, one in X, one in Y, another in Z direction. Now, one thing you realize is force, whenever you apply a force, the potential energy is becoming negative, or whenever this work is happening, potential energy is becoming negative. So here comes a very important point, that a conservative force will always push the system toward lower potential energy. F of x is equal to minus du by dx, or w is equal to minus delta u. So for that reason, this is a conservative force. This is always going to make the potential energy lower. If it was positive, then it would have been increasing, right? It would have been directly increasing. But there is a negative sign, that means it is pushing the potential energy to a lower value. So in that case, I can just take some examples. Okay. So this is one condition where you have the potential energy. This is actually for the spring force. Okay, for the spring force, the spring system, the mass and spring system. So if I take the potential energy looks like a parabolic function. So this is half kx square as a potential energy. Okay. Now I can see the minimum is happening at this value of x is equal to 0. Potential energy is minimum, or let's say the system is stable at x is equal to 0. What if I take a derivative of this potential energy? I get the force minus du by dx, right? I get the force. The same way, if I do the derivative of this half kx here, I'll get minus kx. Obviously, I put a negative sign, so there is a minus kx. So if I do a derivative, I'll get a straight line like this. So what is happening? When distance was increasing, the force was being pushed to a lower value, y-axis values were changing. When distance was decreasing, it was going less than 0, force is going higher. Force is going higher. So it's always pushing it to a lower potential energy. The force is always pushing it to a lower potential energy, or the vice versa. Now, this is another example of gravitational potential energy. So gravitational potential energy, you know that with respect to distance, it keeps on increasing. So I just taken instead of mgh, I taken it as mgy. Okay, y is the distance. So it keeps on increasing from this lower one to the upper one. It's just an increasing one. If I do the derivative, what happens? I'm taking the derivative with respect to y, or with respect to that distance. Then the resultant is only a constant with a negative sign. Constant with a negative sign. So it will lie as a straight line below the axis. It just lies as a straight line below the axis. Instead of y, I can obviously consider it as x also. There is nothing, it's not necessary that I have to take it as y only. I can take it as x. It's just because in the previous function I have taken as x, and here I have taken it as y. You can even indicate it as x. Okay. Now, coming back to what we got earlier, fx of x, that is the x component of conservative force, is minus d by dx of the potential energy in x component, minus du by dx. Fy of y, we said it will be minus du by dy. Fz of z will be minus du by dz. So, if I know the components in three different directions, I can obviously make them all together and get the final force, because whenever I apply a force or there is a work being done, it is obviously happening in three dimensions, all the three directions, x, y, and z. So all three directions I can consider. Now, if with respect to previous what you understood, it was minus du by dx, minus du by dy, minus du by dz. What if the potential energy is a function of x, y, z? Okay. And I can write minus dou u by dou x with the condition that y and z are constant. So that's what is going to come up next. Fx, the force component next direction, I'm going to write as minus dou u by dou x, the partial form. We said this in the previous class. What is happening is, here the potential energy is a function of x, y, and z. But when you are doing minus dou u by dou x, it is considered that potential energy is constant in y and z direction. It's a constant value in y and z direction. Similarly, for y component, I can write minus dou u by dou y, where u is constant in x and z direction. Fz will be minus dou u by dou z, where u is constant in x and y direction. So I had it actually as a total differentiation, but when I consider that the potential energy is a function of x, y, and z, and I apply the condition when I take a derivative with respect to x, the potential energy is constant in y and z, I can write it as a partial function. Similarly for y and z. So I got three components, fx, fy, and fz. So how do I put them as vector? If I want a vector form, I just add all these things and assign the unit vector in all the three directions. That is minus dou u by dou x into unit vector I, minus dou u by dou y into unit vector j, minus dou u by dou z into unit vector k, and add them all together. I can take the minus sign outside. I will get conservative force in vector form. Vector F is equal to minus of a big bracket dou u by dou x into unit vector I, dou u by dou y into unit vector j, plus dou u by dou z into unit vector k. Unit vector, we said already, I is the unit vector in x direction, j in y direction, k in z direction. Okay. Now this thing I can just rewrite by taking out u. I will end up getting dou I dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y plus k dou by dou z of the potential energy u. What is that I dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y plus k dou by dou z? That is the gradient. That is the gradient. Or I can write f is equal to minus gradient u or minus vector del into u, minus gradient of u. So force is negative gradient of potential energy, a very important aspect for conservative forces. Okay, force is a negative gradient of potential energy. So all these are very simple maths. It's not a big deal to understand this. We have not done anything complicated. The only thing is you need to remember that I dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y plus k dou by dou z is the del vector or the gradient. Now, one more aspect about the conservative force. First thing, we said that force is negative gradient of potential energy, right? And we said earlier that the total work done is 0. So in integral form, I can write f dot dr is 0. Integral f dot dr is 0, or closed integral. Closed integral, right? What is closed integral? Open integral means you are going only from position A to position B. When it's a closed integral, that means you go from A to B and then return back from B to A. So that is what is happening in a conservative system, right? The work is being done like when you are throwing the ball against a gravitational force. What was happening? It was going up and then coming down. It was going up in one direction and the same direction it was coming back, right? Whichever direction can be different, but point, the starting point and then the last point will be same. So A to B and B to A, two-way process it is happening. So I can say closed integral f dot dr, or the work done, is equal to 0. Here f is a vector, actually I put it in bold. It's a vector f dot vector dr, okay, is equal to 0. Now, I can rewrite this closed integral f dot dr as integral del cross f dot ds. That means curl of force dot the surface area. Now dr was distance. It was corresponding to force into distance, right? Now ds is actually area. ds is the surface area. Now this integral form is known as Stokes' theorem. You only need to know this integral form. So it was closed integral f dot dr, a dot product. Now what has happened? It's again a dot product now within the integral. It is not closed now. It is an open integral. Curl of the force, whichever force you have applied, curl of the force del cross f dot ds. So I will replace integral f dot dr by del cross f dot ds in the previous equation. So I will get, for conservative forces, integral del cross f dot ds is equal to 0. Del cross f dot ds equal to 0. Or in another word, obviously integral over ds will give me the total area of the surface. So total area cannot be 0. So for that reason, what has to become 0? The curl of f has to become 0, or del cross f becomes 0. So this is Another way of representing the curl of a force, conservative force, or another way of saying that conservative forces, the first thing we said is the total work done is 0. I can write it as closed integral F dot dr is equal to 0. Next is del cross F is equal to 0, or the curl of the force vector. If I take a curl that is with the determinant and all, if I do it, I will get it as 0. Now, and one more thing you just learned it before, that force is negative gradient of potential energy. This is applicable only for conservative force. We are not going in depth about non-conservative force. Now, let me just switch over to another file. Okay, give me a second. Okay, is this visible? Can you see the screen? Yes. Okay. So we are going to do two simple numericals. We have been talking about gradient, divergence, and curl. So two very simple numericals we are going to do. Okay. First one, this is the question. If function phi, this is a function phi, scalar function. So we said scalar function we don't by phi, and vector function we are having a vector f or some other form. So this is a scalar function. So if phi, there is no vector notation here. This is a scalar function, so no vector notation. So if phi is equal to x square plus 2y minus 3z minus 4, find gradient of phi at 1, 0, 0. Also find its magnitude. So how do we do this? We have the function phi is equal to x square plus 2y minus 3z minus 4. We have to find the gradient. So what is the expression for gradient? Gradient vector del vector into phi is unit vector I dou phi by dou x plus unit vector j dou phi by dou y plus unit vector k dou phi by dou z. Substitute for phi in all three. So I dou by dou x of x square plus 2y minus 3z minus 4 plus unit vector j dou by dou y of x square plus 2y minus 3z minus 4 plus k dou by dou z of x square plus 2y minus 3z minus 4. What do you get? Let's try differentiating. I am going to differentiate with respect to x considering y and z constant. So I will only get the first term, right? All others become 0. All others become 0. So I into 2x. What happens here? The x term is 0, z term 0, constant also is 1. So only with respect to y I am doing the differentiation. So it is dou by dou y of 2y, that is 2 differential. You are just doing like a normal differentiation. Then k into dou by dou z with respect to z you are doing. The only thing which you will get is with respect to minus 3z when you do, you will get minus 3. So what is your result? Gradient becomes I into 2x plus j into 2 plus k into minus 3. Now, next you are being asked, you have to, this is your gradient, you have got the gradient for this function phi, but you are being asked, find the gradient at 1, 0, 0. That means, find the value of the gradient at x is equal to 1, y is equal to 0, z is equal to 0. So, if you substitute for that, only here it will come. So, I just make it here, del phi at 1, 0, 0 is I into 2 into 1 plus j into 2 remains there. There is no y. Even if y was there, that was 0. K into minus 3, right? These two terms, that doesn't have a y or z, so not a tension. Only for x, you have to substitute 1. Just do the multiplication, you will get 2i plus 2j minus 3k. So this is the gradient phi at the position 1, 0, 0, where x is 1, y is 0, z is 0. Now comes the third part of the question, find its magnitude. So if I have a vector like this, how do I find the magnitude? I have to do square root of the magnitude, this square, 2 square plus 2 square plus minus 3 the whole square, or square root of 2 square, 4, another 2 square, 4, plus minus 3 the whole square is 9. So I take a sum of all of these things. So 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 9 is 17, value of square root of 17. So you got the gradient. First what you did is you brought in this formula for del I dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y plus k dou by dou z, applied it to the function phi. Then you do the differentiation. After that, it was asked at this position, you apply the value of x, y, z, get the del phi at the position. Next, for the magnitude, take square root of whatever is the constant here, square, plus the next constant square, plus the next constant square. So you will end up getting root of 4 plus 4 plus 4, 9, that is square root of 17. Square root of 17. Now, so this is about gradient. Next one, you're going to do both divergence and curl. So this is the next question. If vector r, you have been given the function, vector r is equal to 2xi plus 3yj plus 4zk. See, whenever you write this function, be very careful. Whenever there is this ijk, you should put this hat symbol. Then only you will know that this is a unit vector. So this is a function 2r vector r is equal to 2xi plus 3yj plus 4zk. You're basically being asked to find the divergence and curl, or in another way, prove that divergence of the vector r is 9 and curl of r is equal to 0. How do we do it? Once again, so given vector r is equal to 2xi plus 3yj plus 4zk. How do you find divergence of r? You have to do dot product of del and r. So del dot r is equal to, write the full del I dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y plus k dou by dou z dot your entire r 2xi plus 3yj plus 4zk. Now how do I do it? Dot product means when you do dot product, if I do I dot I will get 1. If I do I dot j, I will get 0. If I do I dot k, I will get 0. So whichever is the unit vector corresponding to that unit vector, you have to take the dot product. So I dou by dou x dot 2xi. I dot I is 1. So dou by dou x of 2x, I will get as 2. Okay. Now again, next term, j dou by dou y dot 3yj. J dot j becomes 1, and then it is all left as dou by dou y into 3y. Dou by dou y of 3y, you will get as 3. Then k dou by dou z dot 4zk. So what is happening? Once again, k dot k becomes 1. Dou by dou z of 4z is 4. So 2 plus 3 plus 4, 5 plus 4 is 9. You have proved that divergence of r is 9. Now, for the curl of r, what you have to do? You have to take it in determinant form. So what do? You take a determinant I, j, k, you put the unit vectors. Then you write dou by dou x, dou by dou y, dou by dou z. And then 2x, 3y, 4z. Next step is to solve the determinant. How do I do? Obviously, I consider for I, dou by dou y of 4z minus dou by dou z of 3y. This is just simple determinant of a matrix. Minus, second one will be minus j. So I neglect these two. So dou by dou x of 4z minus dou by dou z of 2x. Then plus k. So that means this one and this I have to neglect. So what happens? Dou by dou x of 3y minus dou by dou y of 2x. Very nice form. What has happened everywhere, because none of these are depending on what with respect to whatever I am differentiating. Dou by dou y of 4z, 0. Dou by dou z of 3y, 0. Dou by dou x of 4z, 0. Dou by dou z of 2x, 0. Dou by dou x of 3y, 0. Dou by dou y of 2x, 0. That means 0i minus 0j plus 0k. What happened? I end up getting 0. So curl of the vector r turned out to be 0. What if this vector r is a force applied? I have got the curl 0. That means that vector r will be a conservative force. If this curl value was not 0, it would have been a non-conservative force. Curl of r 0, so it is a conservative force. If curl of r is not 0, then it is non-conservative force. So two simple numericals. In one we did the gradient, another one we did divergence and curl. Okay. Now, give me a second.